Hi, today I'm going to mill the hexagons on each end of the drive shafts for these tricycles that I build. This is basically a drive shaft. There's a long one and a short one for each machine, so we've got two shafts, and on each side of each end of the shaft I have an 11mm hexagon on this end and a 13mm hexagon on this end. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, just to show you what I use, the machinery I use, and how I machine them. Right, here's the indexing fixture I use. It's a originally it's off of a cylindrical grinding machine. It's very universal. I modified it to fit my Bridgeport milling machine, and that is the machine. It has a tail stock as well, which I use with a centre in it. It indexes lots of different pitches. As you can see on here, there are the marks. So there's 18, 32, 22, 40, 24, 28, 30 and 20. So you can set this to whichever set of holes you need, and you can index, I use it for indexing hubs and the hexagons on the shafts and so forth and so on. So that's okay. Now the next thing is to pick up the shaft. I'm going to do a short shaft first, and I'm just doing the small end. So I'll find my chuck key. Here it is. And I've already sort of preset this anyway. So basically push that into the centre in this end, tighten it up, and that is now set up and ready to go. So we're on 0, and now I turn the machine on, and I've got to set the depth and bring the cutter up to the shoulder, up to there. So we'll start the machine and away we go. We're running on 1500 revs a minute, and this is high tensile steel, so it's quite tough. And just bring the table up, just touch on the top and take a cut across. Now move it along until I just touch this face with the cutter. There we go. Let's just kiss that face. Now I'll turn it around 180 degrees. And I'll take a cut on this side. Now I can measure the size and see what we've got. Okay, so we've got exactly 12mm. It's got to come down to 11, so we have 1mm to come off. Okay, I've just set that on the on here. I've just brought it up from 0 up to 0.5, which is 0.5 each side. I'll just go a little bit more. Right, so now I can go back to 0 again, and away we go. 60 degrees, 60 degrees. Up to 120 degrees. Degrees, 240 degrees, finally 300 degrees. Go back to the 0, which is the 360. So that should now hopefully be the correct size. So I usually go for 0.05 millimeters down, which it is, which is absolutely perfect. So that's whether you can see that, that's exactly what it measures. It's 10.95 millimeters. Which is 0.5 under the 11. Right, so that's that one done. Now I'm not sure whether the long one will go in without moving the tail stop, but we'll try it. So, long shaft, let's see if we can get it in. No, it won't go in. So we have to move the tail stop. Move that back. There. And we do the same again. You can see we've got the depth set correctly, so all I've got to do is basically turn the machine on and machine it back and get it flat up to the shoulder there. And then we can just go around the 6 flats in one go. One. Two. Check that one. It's absolutely spot on, absolutely brilliant. So that is how I machine the hexagons on the drive shafts. I've now got to change the cutter and do the other end, the shafts. Okay, so I'm now going to change the cutter for a bigger diameter one. So I'll just take this one out. I have to stand up here because I'm only short. There we go. That's taken that one out. It's a different size collet as well. So this one's just a high-speed steel cutter, so I have to slow the machine down a bit. That's okay. Right, so put the shaft. I'm going to put the long shaft back in. That's what it was set for last time. So you just pop that back in into the centre. Okay. Now bring the cutter across down to the shaft. Pop the quill. Right, we're virtually ready to go. Just slow it down. Zero. Okay, just touch the cutter on and take a small cut. Turn it down 180 degrees. Machine the other side. Basically repeat what I did on the first end. Obviously it's different measurement across the flaps. That's 14.2. So we've got 1.2 millimetres to come off. So I'll set the zero down here. Take half of that, so that's 0.6. Okay. Back to the zero. I'll lose a bit of coolant on this one. Just check the dimension, make sure it's right. That's correct, it's 13 millimetres. So now take that out. And apart from, I've got to take the burrs off and chamfer the hexagon on the end, on both sides, both ends, and then that's basically a drive shaft done. So there's the hexagon on the first end, or the big end. That's where the hub goes on, and this end is where the cassette fits in there. Bearing here, bearing of the cassette fits on here, and the bearing in the axle casing fits on this diameter.